Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife review for you. Today, we have the Giant Mouse ACE Iona, the new aluminum handle version. You guys wanted me to review this, and so I am. Thank you guys for suggesting it. I was kind of thinking about it anyway, but on one of my live shows, occasionally I'll say, hey, what do you guys want to see? Here's my budget. What do you want me to buy? This was the best suggestion I had that night. The guy won a CRKT knife I sent him. So yeah, keep an eye on the live show. Sometimes I do weird stuff like that. So this is made possible by you Patreon people. I spent some of my Patreon money on it. So thank you very much. Check out the Patreon down below. Some cool little benefits, all that kind of stuff. But yes, this is the new aluminum handle version of a knife I already really liked. I did review the original iteration. I almost said previous, but it's not previous because you can still buy it. The $99 version, which has FRN scales and the same M390 blade. Yes, that is correct. M390 blade on this. But it has the ANSO kind of cut out, textured sort of FRN. And I liked it a lot. But those scales they weren't super nice. They're okay. For 99 bucks an M390, they're fine. But I'm really excited to have this new aluminum one. It's just a lot more solid feeling. Not that the other one was going to break or anything, but it just has a really good solid feel, and I think looks a whole lot better. And it's a bit more comfortable. So we'll get to that as we go on. But this version is $140. I got mine directly from Giant Mouse, and I think it was like $133, but with shipping and stuff, it wound up being $140. Your average knife retailer place is going to have it listed for $140, so it kind of evens out in the end. But yeah, it's basically the exact same blade, exact same phosphor bronze washers. Instead of having a glued-on sort of back spacer, it does have like more conventional standoffs. And yeah, 140 bucks, still not bad at all for an M390 knife. Really, really like the overall kind of look of it and feel of it. Pretty good texture on this aluminum. It's not, it feels like it's going to hold up okay. We'll see. That's one thing that just takes a while. I don't know how much it's going to scratch up. I've had this for a few days now, though, and been carrying it, and nothing so far. Nothing so far at all. So, and I have been stupid with it and put stuff in my pocket next to it that I probably shouldn't have, other metal things and stuff. And so far, so good. But as you'll see when we get there, it carries pretty well. Let's do some specs and size comparisons before we get too much farther. It's not a huge knife, but it's not a tiny one either. No sticker today. I'm sorry about that. I told you guys I was out of stickers, and as you can see, I was not lying because I just cleaned this thing, and I don't have a sticker to put back on it. But the purple background won't go and work with the blue. Anyway, these are 1-inch squares in this particular background. Overall length of 7 inches, blade length of 2.88 inches. You have a blade thickness of 0.12 inches and a handle thickness of 0.5 inches, and a weight, according to my scales, 3.02 ounces. So let's just call it 3 ounces. Not shockingly light. The FRN version is 2.5. So this is about half an ounce heavier, but still a pretty lightweight knife. Size comparisons. Let's do our usuals first. We have your Spyderco Paramilitary 2 and the Para 3 to complete the Spyderco Sandwich. You guys thought you were going to get away without hearing me say that, weren't you? You can see it's even just a little bit smaller than a Para 3. And then we will put it up against your couple of Benchmates here. We have the full-size Griptilian and the full-size Bug Out. So yeah, it's a little bit smaller than a Bug Out. Why not? You know what? I have it right here. Let's do the mini Bug Out as well. Yeah, so it's kind of right halfway between the mini Bug Out and the full size. I think a little bit more comparable to the full size. And I already did a comparison between the original $99 FRN version of this and the original $114 at the time version of the Bug Out. Now they both have upgraded models. This is the CF Elite. This is the aluminum. I think it's going to be time to redo that Battle to the Death. So I think I will do that. I think the Bug Out one originally. Let's see who made the best improvements. I think that'll be a fun one. And just one last size comparison, because I have another Giant Mouse here, another Giant Mouse ACE. This is the Biblio in the G10. You can see pretty similar in overall length to the Biblio, but obviously the Biblio is a little bit shorter and thicker. Shorter and taller? I don't ever know what to call that dimension. If you guys don't know, I already explained it in a previous Giant Mouse ACE thing, but so Giant Mouse ACE is their production version of their knives. They usually just do really, or used to usually just do really small runs. They're like 500 and then they were gone. And when they're gone, they're gone. Now the ACE models are made by other companies. They're regular production. This one happens to be made in Italy. So is the Biblio. A couple of their newest models are made by Riat over in China. So they're moving stuff around a little bit. I think a lot more stuff will be made by Riat in the future, but I think all these previous models that are continuing to sell will be continuing to be made in Italy. We shall see. Yeah, anyway, let's break this knife down by its little bits. The blade on this, I really like the blade on the original. Still like the blade on this. You're looking at about 21, 22 thousandths behind the edge. Pretty darn good slicer, just simple drop blade. Blade stock is, you know, it's thicker than a bug out, but it's still pretty darn slicey. It does not have a convex edge on it. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it has anyway. Sometimes Italian stuff, they're fond of those convex edges, so it's kind of weird. You never know. And also they're fond of being not very thin behind the edge. This isn't like screaming sharp like a Civivi, you know, that'd be 13, 14 thousandths behind the edge, but it's thin enough. It did come screaming sharp out of the box. It's super slicey. I do really like it, and it does have a pretty good tip, you know, for if you want to go piercing and stuff like that. And with the new aluminum handles, it feels beefy enough to do that kind of stuff. So I think I appreciate that blade a little bit more on this one than I did on the old one. The old one still felt more robust than a bug out or something like that, but this one feels even that much more so, and this blade looks like it could really hold up to it. So I do like that a lot. As far as the ergos go, again, I think I like them better than the FRN. The FRN had the Anzo cutouts, which aesthetically was kind of a love it or hate it for people. If you look at them, they're kind of like scallopy sort of things. Giant Mouse is a collaboration between Jesper Voxnaes and Jens Anso, and this one is definitely more of an Anso influence to me than it looks like, where this is more of a Voxnaes, you know, in the Biblio. And his little cutouts work great for traction, but they don't look that great, and some people love them, some people hate them. I was kind of neutral on them. I didn't really love them, but I didn't really loathe them. But I do like the look of this one a lot better, I do have to say. And ergonomically, I think it works a lot better for me. Is it as grippy as the FRN with the cutouts? No, it isn't. But I don't need it to be any grippier. The shape of it, I'm locked in pretty good. I can easily get all 4 fingers on it, and I prefer the ergos of the aluminum. You can still kind of feel that pocket clip, just a tick, just like you could in the original version, but it's not. I wouldn't even go close to calling it a hot spot. And it's a nice wire clip, so if you do squeeze it really hard, it's going to bend before it really, you know, becomes a problem, or flex out of the way before it becomes a problem. And I really like it. You guys know I like wire clips. Not a surprise. Which, speaking of, how does this thing carry? Let me get a ye old Wrangler's Mark II here. It carries very well. So did the previous one. The previous one, even with the texturing, it still slid out of the pocket okay, but this one is just even that much better. It slides into the pocket really, really well. It's still not very heavy, 3 ounces. That's still plenty darn light, and it doesn't take up much room. Super easy to get your hand past, and there's no flipper tab sticking out. This is just thumb studs. And peel this back, you can see it takes up virtually no room in the pocket. It's an excellent knife to carry. I've really enjoyed carrying it the last couple of days. It's been really, really nice. As far as the deployment goes, this is on phosphor bronze washers. The detent on it is outstanding. Flies right out, no problem at all. Is it drop shutty? No. Neither was the last version. You got to give it a pretty good flick and it'll fall down, but it's super smooth, definitely. And it's perfect. You can reverse flick it, all that kind of stuff. I really do like using it. What it reminds me of a lot, and I have one out here, is one of my other favorite phosphor bronze knives, and this is the Ontario Rat. This is the Model 1. But it makes that same thwackiness. And this is a bit more drop shutty, bigger, heavier blade, but it's not that much of a difference. And this one isn't broken in yet. When I put more miles on it, which I'm going to, because I want to see how that aluminum holds up, it'll probably get more drop shutty. But one thing I do like about it, let me do this. Listen to this. It's a very satisfying little detent noise. Yeah, it's pretty good. Thumb studs, The previous one, I called them a bit sharp. I think these might be a bit softer. I wish I still had it here because these don't feel that bad at all. Or my thumbs have just been destroyed to the point that I don't notice it anymore. The lock bar access is not ideal. If I had one change I'd make to it, I would knock this down a little bit because you do have to kind of jam your thumb in there. It's not hard. I have pretty skinny fingers and I can still do it, but it is noticeable. The jimping on it stuff is perfectly acceptable. It works fine. It's not like a problem, but they could have done better if I have to have one complaint about the deployment on it. So where does that leave my conclusion? 140 bucks, man. It ain't bad. It ain't bad at all. When you look at, I'm going to do a comparison with a bug out, but you look at like the price of a CF Elite bug out, I think it's about 140 bucks. And I like the aluminum better than the FRN. Some people will like the FRN better, but they still make it. And the FRN doesn't come in more colors. This just comes in this blue, and there's a green that I thought was gray on my phone screen. And I almost ordered it. And then thankfully, I read in the order confirmation green, and I was like, oh, no, not green. You guys know I don't like green. So I switched to the blue, but it is kind of a cool, like, deep blue. It's not like a bright, obnoxious blue. I do really like that. So, yeah, I really like this knife a lot, and I'm glad you guys pushed me over the edge to get one. Like I said, I was thinking about it, but then you guys just pushed me over the edge. So, really cool. And I'm going to try and keep it around for a while and do some more comparison stuff. And I kept my old Iona for a fair bit, and I think I'll keep this one even longer. Really, really cool knife. I like a lot of giant mouse stuff. I've got the Biblio now, and I have another one on the way. So I got a Clyde coming in. So I got through a trade. So apparently I'm becoming a giant mouse guy, I guess now. I don't know. That was a lot of stumbly words. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I've been Brian. Again, check out the Patreon down below. Helps me get stuff like this. I always appreciate it. Have a good one.